Hey everyone, it's the next Q&A video. This one is a special team up with my favorite video partner.
Quacking Duck!
It's Quacking Duck.
I'm sorry.
My daughter. Amazing, I have a daughter. So some of the questions in the Q&A were directed pretty much towards QD, Quacking Duck. And so we'll start with a 64-page specials question for her. He asks, will Quacking Duck receive her own spin-off? I took that to mean her own spin-off show on my channel or her own YouTube channel.
Well, I'm not sure I want my own channel yet. I just don't feel like I'm that in-depth, but maybe we could have like a few Quacking Duck videos or something.
Like solo Quacking Duck videos on the Sleeping
you
Reader
could come
channel?
in, but like it could be mostly Quacking Duck or something.
And we have already done like some Sleepy Duck vlogs, which we might do more. This is kind of a Sleepy Duck vlog here.
Yeah, except it's the Q&A because it's his 5-year anniversary on YouTube.
I'm 5 years old at last. Okay, that's a great answer. Russ Works asks, he says, for Quacking Duck, what are the kinds of comics you like best? Should we stop there and you can answer that, then we'll do the rest of the question?
Well, I like all different kinds of comics. I mean, I like the news. I like all different kinds of comics. I like the new Squirrel Girl comic, The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. It's really good. And I like some of the older Supergirl comics. Me and Dad have been like reading through some of the older Supergirl comics.
The Silver Age Supergirl comics.
Yeah, and they literally have this giant thick book that has Silver Age Supergirl stories in it. We showed it off in our previous videos.
I think we talked about it in our first Sleepy Duck vlog. And lately we've been having fun. We found some old Jimmy Olsen stories. Those were fun, right?
Yeah, some of those were fun. We read one where he went into outer space, like a different planet, and he became had superpowers and stuff, but they kept figuring out he was Jimmy Olsen somehow.
What was the answer? Do you remember why they all knew his name?
They were telepathic.
And we like this comic book, right?
Yeah, we haven't read that issue yet.
We just got this in the mail today. But last night we read
why do I keep forgetting the word telepathic? I don't know why.
I'll try to telepathically remind you of the word telepathic. And then he asks, what do you think should be made into a comic that's never been done before?
Well, honestly, I don't know. But one time I made up that there was a Cat Grant comic book.
Right.
And I think that, now with the popularity of the Supergirl TV show with Cat Grant as, a big character, that she may eventually get her own comic. And, yeah.
And what about, a Midvale Orphanage comic? Would that be
because, the old Supergirl, she's at Midvale Orphanage, as you may know, but, yeah.
Right. So they should get on a Midvale Orphanage comic.
Yeah, because people might like it if they go back to what they did in the old times. It's not exactly, right?
Right. So we like the way they explored all the different corners of the Superman family, and we want more of that, right? Okay, so that's great. And then Mind the Comics, who is from Portugal, asks, has your daughter had access to any digital comics? And the answer to that is a resounding yes. We read
because my dad reads to me a lot of digital comics.
We find the digital comics where you can slide it from panel to panel a great way when you're reading together. Yeah, and we usually read the Squirrel Girl comics on an app called Marvel Unlimited. It's a really good app, but but things come in 5 or 6 months later than they actually come out, so that's the one disappointment, you know? On the other hand, we read a lot of digital first comics from DC.
Yeah. Like the DC Superhero Girls comics.
DC Superhero Girls, the Wonder Woman comics, we're reading Batman, '66 meets Wonder Woman '77.
And
first.
Legend of Wonder Woman.
Legend of Wonder. That was one of our favorites.
Yeah, that was our favorites, but the author of it.
And those come out digitally, and then a couple months later they come out in comics. But we pay for those, whereas the Marvel Unlimited, I pay one small yearly fee, and we get unlimited Marvel.
Yeah,
but it's
unlimited access
all 6
to
months old
all of the
or older.
Yeah, because they have 90s stuff
and then the next question on my list, you might or might not want to try it. Silver Planet 6, who I've just recently discovered and is a great channel, so you guys should check him out. Maybe if I remember, I'll put a link down below. He asks, if you could execute a trade between Marvel and DC universes, one character for one character, who would you choose from each company to switch?
Well, I was thinking Supergirl and Squirrel Girl, since they're pretty much like my two favorite characters. But
And they have the same initials.
And they have the same initials, so it just totally works out. SG and SG.
I think it would be great to have
them team up or something.
Well, I'm giving my answer too. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You want to say more about them?
Because
you would like a crossover where the two cross universes and meet each other for a while.
A little bit, but they might kind of like switch around a little bit to the other universes. It's really, I don't know why I thought of it, but they both start with SG and I love them. So, now you.
And so I was thinking, my first reaction was, for some reason, I'd like Starfire to go over to the Marvel Universe for a while, maybe be a member of the Avengers, or be a guest in the Fantastic Four if they ever brought that back. She kind of reminds me, somehow she feels like she'd be a good fit in the Marvel Universe for a while as a innocent. And maybe a good fit in the DC Universe would be the Silver Surfer. Get some power cosmic going. You could have adventures with
really overpowered power cosmic.
Right. In the last issue we read, his powers were pretty darn overpowered.
Yeah. I mean, he can basically do anything with his power cosmic. Except sometimes they say he can't do stuff, and then sometimes they say he can do that stuff.
So the next question, maybe we'll just answer one or two more questions on this video, from Wednesday Serial, which is Matt, who you've met.
Yeah, I met him. I have.
How does Conan influence your videos?
He doesn't influence me.
Do you think Conan influences me?
Not much.
Yeah. But, well, to me, Conan is kind of a, what's the word? Suddenly I've lost it. An existential character who creates his own destiny. And I like to think by doing these videos, I create my own destiny. Or I'm creating my own self. I consider, my philosophy is that you're continually creating yourself throughout your lifetime. And somehow I connect that with Conan. And I know Matt was just teasing me because he thinks it's really weird that I like Conan.
Why?
Do you think it's weird that I like Conan?
I don't really think it's weird, but I just think
he thinks Conan's just this guy who runs around with almost no clothes on, swinging a sword around.
I just think it would be weird if I liked Conan. I just think it would be weird if I liked Conan.
Do you remember when you were really little and we made up a story about Connie, the swordswoman, who was based on Conan?
Yeah.
And we would have bedtime stories about Connie the swordswoman.
I don't really remember that.
And you drew some kind of cool.
I don't want to talk about this.
That was long ago. She was a different person then. It's that existential rebuilding her personality every so on.
Like this year.
Swamp Shark 100 asks, how do you feel about comic book adaptations, shows, movies, cartoons, etc.? So how do you feel? Like, we've watched Brave and the Bold and Justice League Unlimited and some other stuff.
That's kind of
Teen Titans Go.
Because some of the stuff is good, but some of it isn't really. Like, me and Dad watch Batman Brave and the Bold, and it's actually really good, but some stuff is not.
Right. I think I like a lot of the cartoons, but the live action stuff, for some reason,
it's just a little
interpreting
creepy.
These things into live action is less interesting to me. So, like, I have not gone to all of the superhero movies, which surprises me, but and I probably will eventually see them. But
I don't
after a
think
while,
I
I just sort of got blasé about live action things. But if there were a new thing like Brave and the Bold, or the Batman animated show, or the Justice League Unlimited, I really like those ones. And those ones seem to, in my mind, they seem to add more to the comics and the characters. Like we got Harley Quinn came out of an animated show into it. Whereas when they try to make the comics more like a movie, like try to make Tony Stark more like the movie Tony Stark.
And when they try to
Nick
make
Fury.
or when they try to make Supergirl
really
like the TV show Supergirl, even that's kind of bad.
Right. Even though the Supergirl TV show seems good, but maybe
it's okay.
too
It's
violent
a little
for us.
creepy and violent sometimes.
The bad guys are too horror movie-ish.
Yeah, I don't like horror movie stuff.
But even though that show seems kind of good, when we have read Digital First comics where they try to do directly the Supergirl from the show, and it's not as good as the other Supergirl.
But it's not good as good as some of the Supergirl we've read. I would admit that the older Supergirl is a little bit better than the modern stuff.
Well, I think we are kind of out of time.
We are?
So, look at the clock over there. So, I'm sure Quacking Duck will be back to co-star or to dominate some future videos. And I have many more questions to answer, but I will do those in later videos. Because we got to go brush our teeth.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Bedtime.